guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rebecca Sides and I'm a general manager at Inchcape Mercedes-Benz in Warrington. I'm now 12 years in with the company. I absolutely love cars. I love everything that there is to know about cars. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different. So it's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time now, actually, a really long time. I've got all of my things around me here to be able to try and get as much information to you as possible. But what I really want to be able to talk to you about is sales. So sales is something which has given me and is giving me the most fulfilling career. I'm incredibly lucky to have the career that I do, but at the same time it's come through working incredibly hard and working smart and hard at the same time. So what I've decided to do, I've been thinking about doing this literally for years. I've come up with I've got pads and notebooks full of notes that I've done over the years about different kinds of sales training tips and hints. And I thought what I'd do is start maybe a bit of a vlog series going through some of those things, just to see if I can give some information to people about how that might be able to help them with their sales training, with their sales career that they have for themselves. Okay, so if I'm clicking away, it's just because I'm going through a number of different systems here that I've got with different bits of information on, which of course I want to share with you today. I'm still getting up to speed with the whole, the whole iMovie malarkey, but I'm getting there and I'm at least putting up some content, so I'm trying. Okay, so whenever I get asked about sales, whenever I get asked about what's one of the biggest tips that you can give on sales, the biggest thing that I would say that you need to understand as a salesperson or a negotiator or in any circumstance whereby you're trying to get your point across, is that you need to understand the other person's why. So let me just explain what I mean by that. So, for example, you may have a business, 50 people work there, for example, and each one of them come to work and they're all coming to work to be able to, of course, earn money and to go home and to spend that money in whatever way that may be. Everybody, of course, goes to work to earn money. Of course they do. But it's the why behind that money that is really important. It's the why behind that driving force, why they get up every morning, why they come into work and why they spend the time that they do in your business or in their own business or whatever it may be doing that thing. I found a video a long time ago now on YouTube, and it was basically about there was a presenter. I'll put the link actually in the notes below. It's a brilliant video. It was about, there was a comedian presenting on stage, and he asked somebody in the audience to sing, and they sang and they kind of like, you know, did a few words. But then the guy had said, okay, now think about your family or think about someone that you love and now sing that song and see how differently it comes out. And the difference that came out in his tonality and his voice was just, it was so amazing to see how when you put emotion behind something, how differently it changes. So in my business, I have lots of different people, of course, who work with me, and they all come in, and my job as a manager is to make sure that I know their why, so that I can help to be able to put them onto their path of where they want to be career-wise, where they want to be within their, not necessarily their family life. Maybe I can't help that, but at the same time there's always places and times when I'm able to listen to them. But then also as a salesperson, which of course I still am, I still sell cars, it's really important for me to understand why somebody is buying something. So my two biggest players in my life in terms of my working career are, I need to understand my team's why so that I'm able to help them, and I need to understand my customers' why so I'm able to help them as well. So let's take it into a car analogy. A customer comes in, they're looking for a car, they might be a young person who's looking to impress somebody. They're looking to add the car into their armoury of things that they believe is important to their makeup as a person. Or it may be that they're a family and they're a growing family, they've got an extra child on the way and they need a bigger boot. It could be all those different things. But as soon as you understand your customer's why, then you're able then to link all of the features and benefits that come with your product back to their why. Now, when that happens, that is really when you start to get the succinct platform of a sales process coming together. Let me give you an example. If somebody tried to sell me let me just think, something which would be totally of no use to me. I don't know, I probably end up finding a use in most things because that's just what I'm like. Okay, say someone wanted to sell me an estate car. It's not really specifically a car that I would be drawn towards. I prefer Jeeps, I prefer nice big cars. So if someone was trying to sell me an estate car which necessarily didn't have anything that was applicable to the things that I wanted, I'm not going to get sold into that product. In the same way that I don't really get sold into things which I don't see a benefit towards, which in my life. And it's exactly the same way when you're with a customer. So if a customer comes into my showroom and if I'm trying to sell them a car, which may be a car that's on offer and it's a vehicle which I really want to sell, it does not matter how many times I try and sell them that product. It's not going to happen unless I'm able to bring some of the features and benefits from that car and attribute it to their why. So one of the biggest things I would say there is to know and understand people's why. You can't, of course, just ask them, what is your why? You can't just, when you first meet somebody, or it actually works in a relationship as well. Rebecca giving relationship advice. But if you understand people's motives, people's buying motives, people's driving motives within their life, then you really are able to be able to utilise the knowledge of that why to helping you in your sales process. Okay, so in my opinion, people buy things for two reasons. One, to solve a problem, or two, because they fall in love with it. I'm again looking at my notes here, by the way, so if you see me constantly going up and down, should I show you my note? No, it's on a PowerPoint presentation. It's pretty boring, to be honest. It's just for me to make sure I don't go off on a tangent, as I do so often. So people buy for one of two reasons: to solve a problem or because they fall in love with something. I know that I'm very used to falling in love with shoes. I have a problem with shoes, but otherwise, when I buy things, I'm quite specific about solving a problem. So you may find that when customers go to buy something, for example, a pair of shoes, in my own case, I might fall in love with them, but unless that value is built within those shoes, more often than not, that little voice within my head will go, Rebecca, do you really need those shoes? So when you're selling something, no matter what it is, you have to be able to build the value within your product in order for the customer to exchange their money with you for that item. So I talk about this all of the time with my team. All of the time I talk about a value exchange. So a value exchange is somebody comes in and they want to buy something from you, from your business. If you do not bridge that gap between the exchange of their money and your product, then that transaction is not going to happen. So you need to make sure that you are able to bridge the gap between customer coming in, customer knows that they have an amount of money within their bank account or a budget in mind to be able to spend on your product. If you do not fill that gap with enough value, I guarantee that customer is going to say probably one of these objections. Oh, I need to go away and think about it. Oh, I'm not sure, I need to speak to my partner, my wife, my husband, my spouse. That conversation is going to happen. Or they're going to say, I'm just not sure, I need some more time, like I've just said there. And that is because you have not built the value within that sale. That's the only reason why that will have happened. So when you find a difference between a value that a customer wants to pay and a value that you have for your product, the only way that you haven't bridged that gap is because you haven't presented the product correctly and you haven't built enough service within that value exchange. So let me give you another example. A customer comes in, they know they're in your business. First of all, they want to buy a car, so they're there because they want to buy a car. If you haven't been able to give them enough reasons that are attributing back to their why, enough features and benefits that work back to their why in order to buy that car, they're not buying. And they will leave that business uncertain, and no doubt they will then go somewhere else that will enable to be able to bridge that gap, and then that sale will get fulfilled there. And this is why so often when you try to sell a customer something and then you try and contact them maybe the next day or the next day or the next day, and you're trying to get hold of them thinking, oh, they were a really hot buyer, they're going to buy, you're unable to get hold of them because they've bought elsewhere, but they almost feel embarrassed to tell you that they've bought elsewhere because they know and you know that they both wanted to buy that product, but unfortunately the salesperson just hasn't been able to bridge that gap between the value and the value exchange within the amount of money that they have and the value of your product. So that is the only reason, one of the biggest reasons why I see why sales don't work. Okay, so let's actually look at life and our situations in life. A lot of our situations in life are sales. Effectively, there's a book that I've read called Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. I talk about this guy all the time. He's a genius. And he talks about how if you're not selling, you're being sold. And part of me does actually agree with that. Children are the best salespeople you have ever come across. The best. They don't take no for an answer. How many times, for the parents out there, have you been with your child and they've been like, come on, please, can I have, please, 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 can I have, please, please, and it's no, 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 no. But they keep on asking, and because we want the peace, we just say yes. And that's because the child doesn't have any reasoning within their head of the pros and cons and reasons why. It's all about knowing how to manipulate a situation to effectively get what they want, and we are all guilty of giving in to our children. 100%. We are definitely all guilty of that. The thing as well with children is that they're very good at asking the right questions because they haven't been forced into a situation like we have as adults, whereby we're used to the fact that sometimes if we ask certain questions, then it's not necessarily the right thing to do. Whereas children, they'll just ask whatever, probably as adults we're always thinking, and that enables them to get exactly what they want and to move a lot faster. The thing that I also find when I'm with customers is, to root this I suppose back to questions, is you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. So a lot of the time people are scared to discuss price, they're scared to discuss how much a customer wants to spend, they're scared to discuss the problems that they've had in their past. They necessarily ask questions which aren't necessarily apparent to exactly why that customer's there. I'm always very straightforward when I'm with customers. I know that time is important. I know that people nowadays live in such a fast-paced environment where they really want to be able to make a decision, make it nice and simple, and it's our job as salespeople to make sure that we're able to answer their questions, to get to the point of where they need to be straight away, and to be able to control the flow of a sale which works for us, for the customer, and at the end of it the customer walks out of that business and thinks, questions have been answered, the value exchange has been made, I feel that the features and benefits which have been given to me about my product, about their product, enable me to be able to give the customer, to be able to give my money. And that is when you know then that sale has been a really, really good sale. For example, saying things like, if your budget would allow, what is it specifically that you would like in this product? What is it that you've got in your current vehicle, for example, that you had in your old car, which is a must? What is it that you've had in your old home, if you're a real estate, or if you're real estate, why am I saying real estate like I live in America? Or if you sell houses, what, even a property agent? Why am I saying real estate? That is 100% because of Grant Cardone, because he sells real estate. And that's what I was thinking about. But the point is that you have to bring into the sales process reasons about the product that they've had before, the one that they're replacing with your product, and you need to find out what... It cut off there. So it's really important on that basis to start talking about safety. If you start talking on about how fast the car goes and 0 to 60 and all of the things which are quite aesthetical things, when a customer is purely driven by safety, then that is the wrong thing to do. So you have to make sure when you're selling, you listen to the customer's why, you make sure that you understand what their why is, you talk about features and benefits which are representative to their needs and wants, not a previous customer's needs and wants, or not needs and wants that you think are correct just because you know that they're key facts about that car. And you also have to make sure that when you're talking to customers, you understand their value on time, and you understand that you have to build that value exchange between what they're willing to spend and how much your product is. If you follow those first 3 steps, I guarantee you that will get you into a good stage for the next part of your sale. Okay, that's all I'm going to go over on this video. If you've got any questions at all, of course, please comment below. Make sure that you subscribe on LinkedIn. Make sure you subscribe on Instagram. Make sure that you give me a like and a comment below on this video. And if there's any other questions, of course, that you'd like me to answer, drop me an email, rebecca.sides@mercedes, actually, I'm not going to give that one, rebecca.sides@inchcape.co.uk, and of course, I'll be able to help you. I nearly gave you the wrong email address then, which would have been totally useless. Okay, so have a great day, everyone. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.